Validate. You just landed a date with the girl of your dreams. But are you the man of hers? Don't chance it. Get a hype man from Validate. You can tell a girl all you want, but it means nothing unless vouched for. Our program is meant to fit your needs. With a full list of professional actors, we guarantee a natural and casual approach, making every time like the first time. Maybe you want her to think you are the altruistic type.
Ralph, is that you? I haven't seen you since our time volunteering at the soup kitchen. How you been?
The spiritual type.
Dave, it's been a while. Are you still teaching those yoga classes? Dave here has an amazing mooing cow.
We also do breakups.
Hey Charlie, last night was amazing. I never knew someone could love so long. Oh, who's this? Is this your sister?
Try Validate today.
Hello and thank you for cracking another road soda. Always bubbly and never flat. I don't know. You go.
Nice.
Always bubbly. What's our catchphrase? Always bubbly and never
flat.
Okay. I thought you would say something different. On this episode, we have great Woody news. Dave Chappelle is a great guy. And we honor one of our biggest great fans, Grant Pettit. How's that? Isn't that cool? We have Grant, an interview with the Grant Pettit, calling into the show and writing into the show. Such a large, voice in a way. It's that feedback. I love it. I appreciate it. And we talked to him for a bit. We get to learn about Grant, and I think that's going to be something. I was telling him. I was telling Greg, that we should have Jeff and Nelly on too. What do you think? Wouldn't that be nifty?
I think that would be nifty. I would love to. I mean, everyone that's listening to the show is like it's always a two-way street. We do hear from the regular listeners, and it's always nice to hear what people like, what people want, and what we can keep doing. I think that'd be great. I think at when the quarantine is kind of ended, we can record. Because right now, everybody is separate. Everyone's out. And I know Justin's working really hard, putting in the extra hours for his work that he's doing. But even when he was doing it, I think he would also be Skyping in as well. So, everyone's Skyping. And but once this is we get back into it, we'll get together, and we should also have. Because I think if we had Jeff and Nelly, because they're going to be together on like one phone line, and then we'll be together on the other side, and I think that'll work out nice, right? I don't know. I know it will.
I know it will. And then they can tell us right to our faces how shitty. Like, what? Look, guys, you need to clean up your act. We need this. We need this. That's your time. And but thank you guys so much. You can write into the show, roadsodamail@gmail.com. And you can also call into the show, 706-200-1213. If at any point they were talking about something, you're like, hey, I want to comment on that. Just pull your phone out. Or, you probably already got your phone out, but just type in 706-200-1213 and be heard. Be a part of the show. And we also talk about, the Dave Chappelle, the Mark Twain Award. That was great. And, some interesting stuff out here. Ready to go? But first, how about another word from our sponsors?
This episode of Road Soda is brought to you by 10% On.
10% On, America's favorite G-string retailer, is wishing America a happy Independence Day weekend. Come in this weekend and get 10% off.
And also by
Flat Ice Malt has long been the official beer sponsor of Flat Earthers everywhere. A great taste we can all agree on. Try all new Flat Ice Time Off IPA, bottled with Bud Light labels to minimize your chance of getting your ass kicked.
is, again, just like last week and every week before, it's the news. It'll never, as long as there's news, we'll do the news. The first thing up, Greg, you also have the email, the list of news articles. You always get the reporter out first. That's this is the news article. Police. Woman crashes Atlanta news van with reporter still inside. What do you think that, like, what could that... Okay. What do you mean with still inside? Like, I don't get it. Like, she was supposed to crash it? Let's read it. Atlanta police say a woman who wrecked her car. Oh my God. Holy shit.
That's a fair slip because most of the time people crack their cars. You didn't expect them to crash in there. That's on them.
That's on them, man. You know what? Who wrecked her car will be charged with kidnapping after stealing the van.
I drive a Fabergé Fusion.
Oh, now I get it. Fabergé Fusion.
My car gets cracked more often than crashed, so I'm with you on that.
Just cracks. Oh, now I get it. It's an egg joke. This
Saniqua Lunsford. I knew her in high school, and I knew she was going to do some shit like this. Like we just said it in high school. She was going to smash into a car, wait for the news to show up, and then steal their van and crash that shit.
It's the perfect crime because then the news they can't put you on the news, and if they can't put you on the news, it never happened.
You know what I love most about ABC 7 WWSB in Atlanta?
Yeah, what?
When they're going to do like a 7-line news story, one of those lines is going to be super informative. Like, reporter Ayanna Hughes yelled and tried to get the woman to pull over while strapping herself in. Like, you only have 6 lines. I won't want them to be that. Tell me that someone yelled.
You know, I had to trim a lot of fat out of this article. Big decisions were made. I weren't... isn't that... These are some of my favorite, too.
I was going to leave it a line. I had a cup of coffee in my hand while reading the story, but I cut that out, and you guys are saying we need to keep it tight. So I just went with Ayanna Hughes yelled and tried to get the woman to pull over.
You know, it's a really...
That was extremely important.
It's a restriction to my journalistic integrity, because I was holding that coffee when I wrote the story. People need to know.
Ready for this? This is all you need to know. The van crashed about a mile away, period. Hughes wasn't hurt, period. Lunsford had an injured arm. Police say both women are pregnant. Now back to you, Bob. How the Braves doing?
Wow. You know what, sir? That's why you're here and I'm that's why you're there and I'm here. I get it now.
Both women are The van crashed about a mile away. Hughes wasn't hurt. Lunsford had an injured arm. Police say both women are pregnant. Great article.
Is true.
Quality reporting.
The police did say that. Dude, it's like he's trying to build up. It's like a teaser for like a love triangle article that he's going to write later, like an editorial. But ready for the next one?
Yes.
Ready? I think I wrote here, the monkey is a hero. I don't remember this one. Thai zoo forces chimp to ride a bike and spray park with coronavirus disinfectant.
Jesus.
Now that I'm actually clicking the article and looking at it and seeing a picture, there is like a handler walking the guy on like a leash, and he's got like a Hawaiian shirt. The monkey's got like a Hawaiian shirt. He is wearing a mask. So, you know what? I thought it was like this.
When I see New York Post, I see, okay, so this is very close to an Onion article. The New York Post is the closest you're going to get to the Onion.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, that this monkey he was being forced, man. That's free labor, though. And they said, none of us are going in there. We're not going in there. We send the monkey in with the janitor monkey. It says, disturbing footage from a zoo in Thailand shows a chimpanzee forced to sanitize the facility from the coronavirus. Like they got him in there, like shackled, and he's wearing. He's riding a tricycle.
Like Magnum PI. He looks like Magnum PI during the coronavirus scare.
He's got a little cowboy hat. He's really making a day of it. It doesn't seem like he's too torn up. I don't even think. All right, that's what they're doing in Thailand. You know what? I can get behind it. But this last thing, I don't know if I can get behind this last article. Ready? Let the record show Road Soda broke the story first. And the article being exclusive Son of a Hitman podcast to tackle life and crimes of Woody Harrelson's father.
Nice.
Do you hear that shit?
That I'm listening to that. Let me be on record right now saying I will listen to that.
Son of a Hitman.
It's a 10-episode podcast about his dad.
It's with Woody Harrelson. It's about Woody Harrelson growing and his dad being a hitman. 2 years before Woody Harrelson won over TV audiences with his role as the slow-witted, kind-hearted bartender Woody Boyd on Cheers, the actor's father, Charles Harrelson, was sentenced to life terms for the slaying of a federal judge in San Antonio. Now, if you listen to Road Soda, you know something about that. You know a thing or two about that. You think they heard us, Greg?
I think they did. We've been on the Woody trail. I was actually thinking about a segment. This is something that we can still do, by the way.
Yes.
I'm spitballing on air.
Go
what
ahead.
if we did, I was thinking 6 degrees of Woody Harrelson. We could find situations out there that tie back to Woody within like 3 or 4 degrees. Because he's already had such a crazy road. The shit his dad being a hitman that killed a federal judge. The last person to kill a federal judge, we said, right? On a hit that was proven,
right,
was Woody Harrelson's dad. And then we also, the other really cool thing as far as I'm concerned about Woody is that the guy that got eaten by a bear in Grizzly Man, the Werner Herzog movie,
right,
was the guy that lost the role of Woody to Woody.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
That's a new development in the Woody story, Mr. Greg.
We mentioned it way back. I know we talk a lot of Woody, so there's like such a big pile of it, and there's just so many cool things about him that I think we could have a fun time.
What if we had just a segment just talking Woody, and anytime something crazy about that comes out about Woody, we talk Woody.
We should chewing wood. Chewing Woody.
There you go. Chewing Woody. Wood chewing. We'll work on the name. I will
definitely watch that podcast, by the way, too.
Yeah.
In all full disclosure.
I'm so interested to know if they're going to talk about the possibility of him being one of the snipers, one of the people that killed, John F. Kennedy.
John F. What's his face? Yeah.
Yeah. John F. What's his face? That's what. Too soon? Too soon, everybody?
JF what? I don't know.
JF, where did his head go? Too soon? Jaina. Hey, you're the one that said it. What's his face? JF, what's his face? Whoa, dude.
I feel like it was where did his head go?
Oh, the what's his face was just subtle enough. What's his face?
Hey,
where's his face? More like where's his face, huh? Oh, right. Jeez. I'm really, you know what? I will apprehensively listen to this podcast. Let's see if it, I'm just glancing at it, it's debuting in May. So in May, next month, the podcast will chronicle a real-time investigation by host and journalist Jason Kavanagh, featuring in-depth conversation with Woody's brothers, Brett and Jordan, as well as on-the-ground reporting with those who knew Charles before and after his arrest. Woody has not participated in the taping of the podcast as a publication of this article. So yeah, apparently he's not. Let me go ahead and tell you about that. This guy's like,
well, time out because they called him on a cell phone, and Woody doesn't do cell phones. So you gotta figure out his address and get there if you want to talk to Woody.
And Brett and Jordan haven't been over for Christmas in fucking 10 years. So
wait, so this guy, I'm looking this guy up on IMDb, Jason Kavanagh, the guy that's doing this. Here's his filmography. Have you ever heard of any of these? We can go way back to...
How about this? Let's do 6 degrees of separation from Jason Kavanagh to Road Soda. Let's see if there's any let's see how close is the link from our episode.
It's going to be a stretch. Because...
Yeah, right. Let's find out where he lives, and we could see the pulled information for like listener data. Yeah, I'll narrow it down. Maybe.
Wait, so here's his IMDb. He's got his best week ever.
Right.
He was a segment producer of an episode with Paul F. Tompkins. Videos That Rock the World in 2007. Confessions of a Matchmaker. Nova Science Now. So he's in, that's kind of more serious stuff. That's good. He was a producer in a couple of episodes of Biography. Danny DeVito and Ed O'Neill.
Uh-huh.
Ed O'Neill, I believe, was... you know who Ed O'Neill was?
No.
He was Al Bundy
Okay.
from Married with Children.
Sure.
Teen Mom 2, he was a producer. Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now we're getting serious. We just did a story about Atlanta. And I believe both of those women were pregnant, soon to be housewives, and this was the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, I mean, we pretty much know this guy. The Gossip Game, he was a producer. We're the Fugawis. I don't even know. Is that a thing? Have you heard of that?
I mean, yeah, dude, come on. It's we're the Fugawis.
Okay.
Like,
Moonshiners, Power and Ice.
Moonshiners. Man.
Deadliest. This sounds like something I really missed the boat on. Deadliest Job Interview. That's a fucking thing he's credited as. Dude, he's a co-executive producer on Deadliest Job.
You know, we thought it was a really good idea at the time, you know, and we thought we had more episodes than we did.
Yeah, no, please. I want you to extrapolate. I want to hear your take on what is that? What is Deadliest Job?
Well, it's mostly just porn auditions. That's really what it is.
What the fuck? Hack My Life. He was a producer on that, and then Truck Night in America.
Wow.
That's the most recent thing he's been producing.
You know what?
So I'll tell you right now, this is going to be fantastic.
Right.
This podcast.
You know what we should do? We should start hashtagging him in all of our stuff and see if we can. We need everybody to, and then again, honestly, you know, if we probably looked it up, he's probably been recording this thing, like working on the story for like 10 years, you know, like his little side project. That's nope. Probably. He's like, no, I found out about it a couple months ago. It's because
holy shit! I've been calling a guy at this place trying to get in touch with him. He's got the same name as an actor on this thing. You ready for this?
Yeah.
So here's a summary of Deadliest Job Interview. 2016. Okay. It says present, like this is still going. Are you fucking kidding me? Follow tough men and women as they risk everything to secure a highly challenging and dangerous job, from arborists climbing 200 feet high in the redwood forest to acrobatic bush pilots in the savannah of South Africa.
It doesn't sound...
There is no room for mistakes.
It just doesn't sound like you got a whole lot of episodes, you know? Doesn't seem like there's a... I don't see a lot of longevity. Like, I can't name... I mean, it's... Jesus. Even Dirty Jobs is like, if you've got a dirty job, please send in your dirty job, you know?
Dirty job makes sense. That's like got application, you know?
Yeah, but you remember...
Deadliest Job Interview.
Don't you remember towards the end of Dirtiest Jobs, they really started like trying to get ideas at the end of the episodes. They'd be like, guys, please send in your dirty job, but they didn't do it at the beginning, and then they just shit, man. Well, what do we got, man?
I did not follow Dirty Jobs all that well. I mean, I knew of it. I don't think I ever saw an episode of it. I know who the guy is because he did Ford commercials on football games.
Right.
But I mean, I get the concept.
Mike Rowe. You know what, Greg?
Mike Rowe.
My Dirty Jobs is my Simpsons, okay? Taught me everything I know about comedy. Taught me everything.
Welcome to Dirty Jobs is my Simpsons, a podcast by Isaiah Cooper. It's very specific. We know who's watching it, and we love you. Let me get ready to do it. At the end of it, we know he was mailing it in and asking people to send him suggestions. The Simpsons weren't doing that.
Simpsons weren't doing that. They got longevity. Welp, there it is. There's your news. I'm interested to see how that folds out. What we'll do, we'll have to listen to it when it comes out, and then, of course, dissect it and get upset. And honestly, maybe it's going to answer a lot of questions that we had. Like, we had a lot of theories ourselves of what happened, and I'm interested to see if they're going to touch on any of this stuff. So it's actually really pretty cool.
Can't wait.
Don't you think? That's some news. That's some road soda news right there.
This episode of Road Soda is brought to you by Subsonic.
Subsonic. Come out and see us behind the Sonic. And that's any Sonic in America. You can go into a Sonic and get what? A burger? Hot dog? Some kind of slushy thing? You don't want that shit. Pick up a Rise and Shine on your way to work. That's 3 cigarettes, a bologna sandwich, and a pint of schnapps. Or how about a Spanky meal? It's a Schlitz Tallboy, bologna sandwich, and a penthouse. We got 3,500 locations nationwide. No drive-through, no waiting. Just pull up, buy your sack. It's cash only, and you better move quick or the deal goes bad. You know where we are. Look for the van by the dumpster.
So, here we are. It's been... I don't know how you've got to be. You are the biggest fan of the show, man, and I couldn't be more appreciative that
it goes way back.
It goes way back, but I couldn't. Yeah, like it's just so awesome that you are watching or listening to the show and so consistently. Like how, because this is coming from someone who makes it and watches it, and of course we are all our worst critics, but like how the fuck are you continuing to watch or listen to this shit?
It's always been pretty solidly good. It's a good enough ramble to listen to. There's a lot of podcasts that I've listened to, and many I've dropped, but it's a nice. I don't know. I look forward to it every week. So
really,
like Monday morning, whether I'm going in at 4 to plow snow or something, it pops up. I toss it on. That's especially great when that's like when I got to plow.
Wow.
It's a great thing to listen to.
Hey man, and that is crazy. That's so I don't know. I just you make the show, you put it out there, and then we occasionally, Greg or I, we go back and we listen to it to try to, make just see how it is, see if there's something we can change or fix. But you always end up being like, man, I'm talking too much, or why didn't I say this here? And then I don't know. You start. It's just a really interesting.
I have the same note every time I listen to it. I'm like, I am carrying this fucking thing. Almost his feet aren't even touching the ground, but a couple times.
Well, I would say Greg was definitely a good addition. More closer to my place in life, I suppose, because he's got a family. I'm a little bit older than you, Isaiah, but then Greg's a little bit older than me.
Right.
Justin's a good addition. He's got some different perspectives that need in there.
We just had to pause for a quick minute because there was a little technological differences happening there. But you had just said that Justin was a good addition because he has some other different perspectives. It's what you were saying. But Justin. Yeah. It's funny. Justin is kind of like this guy that's been a part of the show the entire time, especially starting with the intro. The music. I mean, he made that song years ago when I was doing this little web series thing, and so he's always really been helping out with the show and everything. So I was really happy to get him on, and I'm happy that we've got also Greg and Justin, because I think that perspective, like you were talking about, that's really important. I want to be able to have more of that relation. But ultimately, I hope to continue just adding people on. But I can't thank you enough, Grant. Man, let me ask you this: what else are you listening to? Like, what other podcasts are you listening to that you have in rotation?
Okay, so I get This American Life. I get this other one that I started listening to that I didn't want to, but kind of got stuck on. Oh, of course, The Dollop. Mission to Zix is another one I listened to.
Wait, what was the last one you said?
Mission to Zix.
What's that?
It is not. It's like a science fiction, kind of like soap opera comedy thing.
Okay.
Is it? It was not something I wanted to listen to, but I heard like people dip in another podcast onto their show every once in a while for something to check out. Got stuck in the story, and now I've listened to like 3 seasons.
I just had a moment with you saying that. I'm thinking back to Ghostbusters when Venkman is talking to the security guard. He goes, "Hey, love the show." And he goes, "You do?" He goes, "One of my 2 favorite shows." He goes, "Really? What's the other one?" He goes, "Bassmasters." Mission to Zix.
That's funny.
Well,
I mean, Wait,
no, so what else? I am always curious because, guys, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm always looking. I'm like a huge listener. And I love to hear like what people listen, because nobody listens to just one, or at least I know you're not a guy that just listens to 1 or 2. It's like food; you can't eat the same shit every day. You kind of like one for a week or a month. So what else do you listen to? You listen to these 3, but there's got to be others too.
Like Limetown. Let's see, which I think they've discontinued since they're doing a TV show of it. I really, really love the 10-Minute Podcast with Will Sasso. It's also off the air, but I'll go back and listen to old episodes.
Is that, yeah?
10 minutes long. And
I don't know how that could not be funny.
How do I...
Hey, Greg. You're breaking up, man.
That's a 10-minute podcast.
Can you hear us?
I'm breaking up.
You're better now. You're good.
I can hear. 10-Minute Podcast, that's from Vine. When Will Sasso was pretty big on Vine, he started pushing that, and so I started listening to that.
Man.
Well, so where can you catch that now, though? Because someone else recommended that a while back. It might have been you, and I tried to find it, and I couldn't find it.
For a while, I don't know what they were doing, but a lot of the episodes of many of the older podcasts that they don't make anymore disappeared off of like Apple Podcasts and stuff. It is back now, though, so maybe if you look again.
Interesting.
I'm going to do that.
I mean, yeah, because if the person stopped making it, and then because you have to host it yourself, and like Apple is kind of just like a directory. So I guess if they stopped paying for their website or something, it would disappear. But I see him talking about it all the time, and I see it like references to the 10-Minute Podcast. You can bang out like 3 of them in a drive to work or something. But hey, this is something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, for sure. I want to. If I ever met Will Sasso, I want to ask him what is it like to act like Chris Farley in front of Chris Farley. Do you remember in what was it, Tommy Boy, where he's like he plays this boss guy that they like end up tying up or something, and the whole time he's just doing that character that Chris Farley does would do on SNL and stuff. Anything? Huh? All right. Well,
no, I don't remember that from Tommy Boy, or was it from one of the other ones? Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it was Tommy Boy because it was him and David Spade, and they tied up Will Sasso. Yeah,
I was of Will Sasso or anybody related to Mad TV. I just did not find that show funny. As soon as I saw him on Vine and started listening to the podcast, he is so much funnier than anything that was ever on that show.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I agree, man. Him on like Instagram and following him on Vine, that guy is he's a comedic genius, man. He's really, really good.
Yeah,
he's really fucking funny.
He is funny.
He's got
I didn't like Mad TV either when it was on. I was much too much of a SNL loyalist. I tried to like Mad TV. It wasn't great, but I've seen a lot of those people doing individual things after, and I love them all. So I know that it was just me being biased, anti-Mad TV.
I mean, yeah, there was some funny parts. So definitely some funny things. I just watched it because it was on at a different time of day, so I was like, I just want to watch something funny. But I thought there was some pretty good parts in it. Huh? See, look at that. I took that third perspective, took that other side. Guys, I have a really hard-hitting question that this is what who do you like better, me or Greg? We need to know.
Well, I tell you what, I've stuck with your podcast, Isaiah, and when Greg disappeared, I didn't search him out anywhere else, so I think that's answer enough.
Oh,
ouch.
I mean, if Greg had his podcast, and I had a podcast, this would. Wait, Greg, would you ever do that? Would you ever do your own? Like jump on and. What would you make your podcast?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, because if you remember when I did track you down at that show way back,
yeah,
you mentioned you had a podcast, and I became instantly 10 times more interested.
Your ears perked up.
I'm not a technical guy, and there's a lot of shit, even for a fairly low rent situation as we find ourselves in. There's a lot of technical shit to even get it running at the level that it's at, and I'm old. I could figure it out. If I really was into the technical side of it, I could get something going. I did something. If you remember, we had a guest on, the toilet paper scientist, Dr. Dave. He was so pissed off at me because we recorded no less than 10 long-form sessions, and we were going to edit, and we talked about, let's cut out that, and let's do this, and that. And then I just never could get it going.
Right.
And just strictly because there's so many questions. Like I could answer the first 3 questions, and there were like 29 more questions just to get the thing up and hosted and posted. I said, fuck it. And he was like, what happened, dude? I said, you're the doctor. You should be the fucking tech guy. And so that's the answer, is that without you, Isaiah, Greg is not on the internet other than commenting angrily and trolling.
What we got to do, we actually ripped off all 10 episodes. I ripped it off as my own shit. I stole it from him. I made him sign some kind of contract. Hey, what about you, Grant? When I asked that question of Greg, it made me think, if you ever had a podcast, Grant, what would you like to see as a podcaster, or like what would you do?
I'm guessing it would have to be like, it'd have to tie into with maybe travel, but I can't afford to do the amount of travel that I want to do. So
right.
I could do some local stuff. With this quarantine going on, up until next week, I've been kind of off work, working maybe 20 hours a week.
Right.
So been doing a lot of hiking and kayaking with my family. And it's funny. It's like our area has like 6 forest preserves that everybody knows about and goes to. And those are the ones I avoid because it's like a crushed limestone trail, 1 million people. Right. That's not the woods. So I've been going to all these other places that I've been to dozens of times. My family's been to dozens of times, and some they've never been to before. And we still don't see anybody out there. Meanwhile, they're like checking your IDs to make sure you're from the county at the other, 6 popular.
That's crazy.
It might be neat to do like Secrets of DuPage County.
Yeah.
Kind of podcast or something. But I don't want to see those fuckers there,
Yeah, you're right. That's maybe that is a big dilemma. You don't want to ruin it. You don't want to ruin that.
Yeah.
But that's a good idea. I think local, having some local aspect is because you know it really well, and you know that everyone that lives around you would also understand and be able to relate to it. I mean, that's actually a really good idea, to do some kind of local travel thing or local little thing.
Yeah.
Hey, where are you, Grant? You're in Chicagoland. Are you like in Western Chicago, Northern Chicago?
Yeah, I'm like maybe 30 miles west of Chicago.
Oh, so you're out there. Okay. 30 miles.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is pretty woodsy, and at least it's like suburban to rural out there, right?
Oh, no. I live in a town that's 38,000 people, I think. The next town over is like 130,000. The town the other way is 60,000. I mean, it's heavily suburbanized, I guess you'd say.
Okay. Sprawling.
Heavily suburbanized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something like, I forget how many people in Illinois, but like 90% of them live in Chicago in the suburbs.
So are you like surrounded by farmers, or is it more suburbanized than that? Or like there's a mix of some farms?
I doubt that. Yeah, I think our county has 2 million people in it maybe, and I would doubt there's more than 200 acres of farmland left. It's all been flat as hell.
It's all driveway.
Yeah, exactly. Strip malls and housing tracts, I guess.
Well, that's America, goddammit. What else do you want? Farms are just a waste.
Exactly.
You don't want to move at a farm. Hey, so I was going to ask you, how has the whole quarantine thing affected your podcast listening? But I guess I just want to back up because I guess it's a more important question. Like, is the quarantine messing with you? It sounds like you're still doing all right. You're a little bit set back, maybe hours-wise, but it's not going on too long. How are you doing with this quarantine situation?
The hours thing is cool. I'm maintenance supervisor for a school district, and they were still paying us our full 40, which was kind of weird because I was used to getting more than 40 hours. But then they were also having us come in and paying us time and a half anytime we were in. On top, I assume I haven't looked at the check, but I assume on top of the normal pay. So that was really cool. I had all this time off, and anytime I came in, it was like nice.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah,
we have not been going shopping. Like, we stocked up 3 weeks ago, and we haven't gone since.
Wow.
Nice.
That's a large haul. 3 weeks of That's a lot of food.
See, that tells me he's closer to farmland than he's telling us, because the suburban housewives don't know how to stock up on shit at all.
Well, she knows
what
she's
doing. They just don't have the planning. She's like, all right, listen, this is what we're gonna do. They're not killing a bull or anything, but she's got better planning skills than the suburban broads. I'm telling you that right now.
you forget I'm a camper. So like habitually for years and years, I've been going on 2-week camping trips, 3-week camping trips. So you got to kind of plan that stuff out. So
yeah.
We got a system.
We've got a system.
Yeah.
So you're with the school district. So have they already canceled the whole school year, or is that still up in the air?
They just canceled yesterday, and in fact, that's why I'm going back on Monday. We got to start like bagging and tagging all the kids' stuff out of their lockers, and we have huge construction projects scheduled for the summer, and now we can get that going a month early, or almost 2 months early here.
Wait,
so
are you? So you're in construction? Why did you've been in? You probably told me that, right?
Well, I'm the maintenance supervisor, so we got everything is contracted. You know, We've already gone through bid process and everything. It's all set up, but there's a certain amount of labor and electrical and stuff that we end up doing in house because it's not like in the scope of a bid or something. So that's on me and my posse.
Cool.
So.
You like that? Sounds like it could be an interesting job.
Yeah, I like it, and this year is going to be awesome because normally it's 2.5 months to get like 6 months worth of work done, and we're still catching up all the way through October. So to get a jump on it is going to be huge difference.
Yeah, what a crazy year! Like the school year is just done. So this this is a boon for your podcast listening. Then you're probably like, what else can I listen to? Because there's so many podcasts that you probably caught up on.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Normally, unless I'm like driving around, I can't really listen to a podcast because I'm in the middle of a classroom or the hallway. You know, like if they don't let the kids listen to shit, I shouldn't be either. You know,
Right.
So So summer's a little bit different, and I get more of an opportunity. But usually, I'm running stuff that's too loud to be listening to headphones anyhow. So.
But well, wait now. So there's no commute to work because I know that's a big part of a lot of people's podcasting. And I don't know if the plowing thing is going on. So has it limited it because you're not going back and forth to work? Like you can't necessarily listen at home because some of the stuff is going to be more R-rated and you just don't want to do that? Or has it?
That's definitely a factor. I don't know how many times I've had something like slave to a Bluetooth item, and I'll put it on and think I've got it tied to my Bluetooth headphones, but it's tied to like the speaker sitting in the living room. Then I got to go explain some stuff.
That's funny. It could be worse, right?
Yeah.
I got a question.
Kids already know.
They know.
They know. I want to ask you because I think I asked Greg some of these questions last week. Did you finish that puzzle?
You know what? No, never started a puzzle. I don't think. So here's what I've been working on is my basement.
Okay.
I've been trying to finish my basement for probably like 3 or 4 years, and I got like.
Do you remember that, Greg? Do you remember basements, Greg?
Yeah, I remember. I had a basement. Then going on for years, and we finished it, but it took years. So I know you're paying there, man.
You guys are all slab dwellers, right?
That's what they.
That's
yep.
right.
Nothing but a slab, baby.
Yeah.
I don't need.
Yeah,
but
I haven't been that far south in Florida. So.
You've never been to Florida?
Not that far south in Florida.
Oh, okay,
I've been,
okay.
You know, done Disney, and then like Panama City is probably as far south. I camped there once over Christmas.
Yeah, that's probably the only time of year you can really camp at all. Our camping season is the dead of winter. That's the only way you can do it, which is like a nice brisk spring or fall in anywhere else. Lordy. So you've got your basement that you're finishing. And you're putting up all the drywall and everything, right? Are you redoing it or are you starting?
No, there was nothing there.
Okay. Is it going to be is it going to be your podcast studio?
No, that's, I think the bedroom's working out pretty good. You know, I hear about all these people going into their closets, but I don't have any closets that are really that.
So wait, was it dirt? Was it dirt floors before, and you had to do the cement, or was it cement?
Yeah, down there in the root cellar. No, it was cement, but it gets cold up here, so I'm insulating the walls and putting up drywall and.
Ghostos, we sell haunted shit. My grandfather had a dream when he started Ghost Host to finally have a place where people can get good quality things with ghosts in them. And today we continue that dream. Our patented objects possession ritual combines anything you want with your favorite ghosts. Toilet seats possessed with Grand Wizards. Remote controls possessed with Stevie Wonder. And coming soon, John Goodman. Neil Peart and a bass guitar. Why not? Too soon? I don't want to get anyone excited, but we may or may not be getting a certain basketball player in a scooter. Huh? Ghost Host. Come on down to Ghost Host today. We'll stuff a ghost in it. And you know you're in the right place when you hear a front door that sounds like Casey Kasem. Because it is. The front door is now Casey Kasem. That's not for sale. This is a booming ghost economy, kids.
Doing the whole thing.
Eventually a drop ceiling, toss the TV down here.
It is one of those projects that goes on forever. When I was a little kid, I'm from Salem, Mass. The houses are so old. The basement project that my old man started, had me helping him out with, it was legitimately dirt floors, and the basement was set up. It had those coal stalls for coal or coke that the guy would come, those little windows that are right by the ground. They open those bad boys up and dump the coal in. That's how that basement was configured. My dad pulled all that out, and then he made me lug all those 50-pound bags of dry cement down. That thing went on forever. But you know what? You really appreciate a cement floor when your young ass had to haul all those bags down that staircase that was made for, I don't know who it was made for, because the thing was like 4 feet tall, and the stairs were all irregular.
Oh, my God.
That was a pain in the ass.
Man, so your dad poured an entire basement floor with just bags of cement?
With bags.
Yeah.
Baby. Now that's a feat, man.
Mixed it in wheelbarrows, and then we did all the studs, all the drywall. I wanted to have a room down there, and I got it when I was like a junior in high school. I started that before I went to high school. And it was just a cement floor and a plug down there that once he put an electrical socket in, I was like, I'm moving down.
That's it. That's enough. We're good enough. Good enough.
That's all Greg needs. What'd you plug into it? What was the first thing?
Space heater.
You know what? Honestly, it's funny. I don't even think I had anything in there. When I was a kid, I had a bed. I did have a little stereo, like one of those all-in-one stereos, the equalizer, the tape deck, and all that. And I had to have a bench. You know those old school red benches where the bars were so close? Isaiah does not remember this at all, but maybe Grant does. You had a weight bench, but they used to put the bars so close together that if you took the weight off one side, the whole thing flipped off the other side. They didn't think that out yet like they do now. The bar is spread out enough.
You got to think about the kind of people putting these things together, Greg.
Yeah, I was basically a pilgrim, okay? Every time I pulled my 25-pound plate off, and the whole thing fell on the other side. I said, it's like I'm a freaking pilgrim. What's happening here?
Should have stuck to the bags of concrete.
That's right.
Yeah, I should have just pumped a few bags of concrete. You're
just
right.
Keep carrying them up and down the stairs. That's a full body workout.
I'd be Rocky by now. I wouldn't be on the podcast, so I'd be in good shape. I'd be off the internet.
It'd be out. Man, I used to watch this. I think he was Puerto Rican. No, he wasn't Puerto. He was definitely a Mexican guy that I worked with, and he would shovel up the like the putty or the mud that they put between the cinder blocks. He would fill up a shovel and he would throw it like over his back, like the shovel and everything with the mud on the shovel, up to a dude like on the second or third story, and they'd catch it.
Oh yeah.
They would drop the mud on their little board real quick, and then they throw the shovel back down. It was such a smooth, fluid process of this dude.
He would mix the mortar one shovelful at a time.
No. He had it in a wheelbarrow. So he mixed it up in the wheelbarrow, and then, or actually like in this little this like turbine thing, he would mix it up, and then he'd dump it out into the wheelbarrow, bring it over there with a shovel, and he would scoop shovelfuls and throw it up to them.
Shovel and ice.
Yeah, he would throw the whole shovel and everything up there. Yeah. It was really.
See, now that's one of those videos where they should show that to at-risk kids at 16 and go, hey, you don't have to do your homework or shit, but I just want to show you a quick video.
Check this
you
guy
could be
out.
doing this too. You don't have to do homework.
No. Isn't that cool? Look how he throws that shovel. That's hard.
You want to be the guy on the top or the bottom? It's up to you. Whatever. Fuck history in English.
Hey man,
how
block
about that
masons.
workman's comp claim too?
Yeah.
And how about that workman's comp?
How'd you get hit by the shovel? Well, 3 stories down.
Those block masons actually make pretty damn good money laying those cinder blocks, doing what they're doing.
My favorite comment on that type of thing is when you hear like an accident that involves alcohol at a job like that, people are always like, really? They're throwing a shovel back and forth and the guy's drinking? And I always think to myself, who needs a drink at work more than a guy whose job is throwing or catching a shovel? Fucking 2 stories.
That should be part of. They should be allotted to blow a certain breathalyzer. Like the insurance company should allow that. But like,
we should cut the charade, and they should be wearing football equipment so that when the helmet, eventually when the shovel comes down on them, they're protected so they can keep doing it. Because that's who the fuck are we kidding?
You know, before we started drinking, we never would have thought of throwing the shovel.
That's right. We're working all these new ways. And now with with your time off, I know that you're saying that you're going out to the parks a lot and you're finding new cool parks. I wanted to ask, because I asked this to Greg last week. I said, what activity are you looking forward to the most throughout the day, like with your free time? That's probably it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the whole thing that sucks is the governor calling school out for the rest of the year and us having to go back on Monday. We had snow Friday, like 3 inches of snow, and now it's supposed to be in the 60s all next week. So,
wow, that's actually. That seems nice. That's kind of comfortable. You know, light jacket.
It's a crazy time of year up there because you sometimes get those late storms. I mean, middle of April. That's tough to be. It's late to be snowing, even a few inches, isn't it?
Yeah,
you don't get that every year.
Chicago's weird. I've mowed the lawn in March, and then like in the last week we've had 2 snows where. Like we went sledding on Tuesday, I think.
Psych.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. And then we had like negative 10 temperatures in probably December. And then in January we had a day that I think was almost 70 or something. So
wow.
It was really a mild winter though this year though. You guys had a pretty good winter. Not too much snow, right? Yeah. And it wasn't freezing cold. It was pretty decent.
Pretty damn decent.
Well, we had a couple days in December that were colder than typical, but yeah, otherwise, yeah, not bad.
Yeah, I think you guys got off pretty well. Now, easy for me to say, of course, sitting down here in Florida, but
it's about to start. It's about to start cooking up.
I like to call people. It's about to start cooking up.
It's about to start getting hot.
You guys are coming into the good weather now. We're going into the period, the season that's called sauna.
Yep.
Sauna on Broken Switch. That starts any day now. It's going to be extremely hot, extremely wet, probably till Thanksgiving.
I live for it. I live for it. Are you?
Yeah, you can tell Isaiah's a Florida guy through and through when he described the little camping season we have here as brisk. There's nothing brisk unless you have an iced tea in Florida.
Sometimes, you know, and in the dead of night.
3 in the morning, if you get up and you go to a high point, you can sometimes catch a breeze that will make you want to think about a light jacket.
Yeah, at least some long sleeves.
You get a lot of high points down there, too.
Hey, we got this one hill. I think it's about 60 feet. So what do you say about that?
That's impressive.
And I think
it's pretty flat, too. But.
I think it's an old mountain of... wait, what is the celery field little hill there, Greg? Is it?
It's landfill.
Yeah, I think it's landfill. It's not. Yeah, it's not.
No, it's totally made out of garbage. Yeah, well, the celery field is definitely made out of garbage. It's our highest point around here, Grant.
Let me ask you,
landfill pile.
Is it known as Mount Trashmore?
Oh, you think that's funny?
No.
You're making fun of.
We've got 2 of them in our forest reserves here that are known as Mount Trashmore.
I don't think you're asking a lot from the Floridians as far as like cleverness. You know what I mean?
You know, like annual things like something like that has to stick around. You know, like people have to see Mount Trashmore being built. We're all like snowbirds down here, you know. So there's not a lot of people around to.
So they did it when on an off season,
that type of stuff along.
And now nobody knows that it's trash.
Yeah.
That's glacial. That's from the Ice Age.
Yeah. Hey, honey, look at that.
It's one glacier moving through Florida, and we put a training bra on it. We call it celery fields, and it's on its way to Georgia.
Yeah. You know what I read? That the white sand is from the Appalachian Mountains, apparently, on the beaches down here.
Really?
I
wondered where it came from. I knew it was imported. I didn't know it came from Appalachia.
It's not important like the original white, because like there's a lot of beaches down here that have white sand. I think it's like deposits from like glaciers moving through Appalachia or some shit.
Oh, I see. So you're saying it actually traveled. It wasn't like on dump trucks in 1987.
No, they just they they didn't do that.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. A lot of dump trucks. You ever seen them? You ever been down to the beach when they're dredging it?
No.
Oh my God, that's a sight to behold. That's like one of those modern Marvel things, like when you watch like big machines and shit, and they got the barge out in the. You can see the barge like 3 or 4 miles off the shore, and it's out there, and it's got this big ass pipe. It's like, I don't know, 6 feet in diameter, and it's just on the beach like this big ass hose, and it just is pumping out sand, and there's a bunch of guys like kind of moving it around. But the pipe lays from the barge all the way down on the floor, all the way up to the beach. And they're just pumping sand.
So wait, they pump new sand from out at sea a little bit onto the beach?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man.
They just pump
it. If you've never been down here, Grant, to this part, I got to tell you, I moved to this area from up in New England for one reason, and that was Siesta Key Beach. It is the best goddamn sand. You're saying this is coming from Appalachia and glaciers and whatnot. It is like, it doesn't get hot. It's white. It's so powdery that it gets like, it's like fine, right? It gets totally into every crevice you have. There's no escaping. It's not like that bristly stuff, but it's so awesome. Dude.
And it recharges your energy because it's 99% quartz. It's some of the purest quartz. And the fine surface area, it recharges your chakras.
No, listen, if you're up in New England, the beaches are brutal. Like, there's not even a day that you can go to the beach in Maine and go into the water.
Yeah,
you know,
I've been to Maine a couple of times, yeah.
Kids do it. You know, when you're like 10, you're like, all right, get out of there. Your lips are blue. No, I'm serious. We're not just saying that 'cause it's funny. Get out of the water. It's like dangerous for your health. Your core temperature is dropping.
Well, we got the Great Lakes. You can't forget about that. So,
but they get nice. You can swim in the Great Lakes, right? You can swim, especially small lakes. Yeah.
Oh.
That's nice. But I literally, before I moved down,
and you can drink it.
And you can drink it.
You can drink it if you want. Yeah.
Live out there if you want.
I do it every day. It comes out of the pipe at my house.
Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you? I love talking to people from the Midwest, like up in the Chicago area. Is it really a real phenomenon, those Asian flying carp that like you sometimes see videos of like?
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that personally?
Yeah.
And
I've never been in a power boat and seen them jumping, but even in a kayak, you'll see them jump.
Wait.
And you see them washed up on the shores because the boats hit them and stuff.
Wait, what are you saying? I want to look this up. I'm not.
Dude, this is crazy shit, dude.
What is it?
Flying carp.
They'll put people on a power boat with nets, or they'll bring like bows and arrows and shoot them on the wing, basically.
Oh, that is some hillbilly shit right there. Let's get a bow and arrow, get in a power boat, and try and shoot some flying carp while we're
flying. Is that what they're called? I just looked up flying carp.
I think they're just Asian carp.
Asian carp.
Yeah. Asian carp. You'll see the videos, man. They're just like flying out of the water, not popping out of the water. They're aggressively flying out of the water.
Aggressively.
I don't know if anybody's been killed, but people have gotten hurt because you'll be going 30 miles an hour and get hit by a 50-pound fish.
Yeah.
That'll hurt. That'll definitely hurt. I don't know. I don't need someone to tell me that. That'll hurt.
I mean, brace yourself.
Does your insurance cover that?
Yeah, how about it?
So wait, so you've seen that? You've been in a kayak and it's like
I've seen him to a podcast. I've seen them jumping. Yeah. But yeah, I've never been on a power boat when they've been jumping like that.
Hey,
they've got a bunch of stuff they're trying to keep them out of the Great Lakes, but
they just jump back in, man.
They've got an electric fence in the river, or I don't know if it's Chicago Sanitary Canal, one of the waterways that connects to the Great Lakes.
That'll do it.
Trying to keep them out.
Well, because they're not in the Great Lakes yet, right?
No, and it really doesn't matter. We got zebra mussels in the Great Lakes, and they've eaten everything. Well, they've eaten out like all the plankton that the rest of the food chain relies on. So
cool. I always heard that's a really good thing.
I think they're from like the Baltics or something. I figure they came in somebody's ballast water on a ship.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah. So that could have been at a time when nobody even understood or anything about, like one of the first times anyone floated a boat in there.
It's tough because it's recreational.
It was the 90s.
Oh, the 90s. Never mind. We'll check that out. Shows how much I know. Hey.
It's like $1 billion problem because they fill pipes and stuff. Because they build on top of them.
Like, who's ever going to fix that? That's always going to be a reactionary thing. They have a thing called what the hell is that stuff that gets on the propellers up in Maine? It's like a weed. I haven't been up there in so long. I can't remember it. But they won't let you take a boat from one pond or lake and move it to the other without checking for this stuff because it gets so bad it chokes out the whole pond, the whole lake. So whatever that stuff is called, people are like, why didn't they stop this before? It's like, dude, because it's like $1 billion problem, and people just want to go out and drink a few beers and swim off their boat in a lake. Who's going to organize $1 billion solution for milfoil? That's what it's called. It's not as cool as Asian carp or zebra mussels, which both sound cool. It's milfoil. It's just like a weed.
We get that too.
Can you at least eat these Asian carp?
Yeah.
What about
I think they were trying to export them to China because that's where they came from.
Take them back.
They were just going to put like a big slip and slide, actually, about 10 feet high, right to China. They're just going to jump and slide right over.
All the way over.
You take them back, you sons of bitches.
They need to get one of those dredges. Just
pump them back. Just suck them up.
Bunch of guys at the other end with shovels.
You get some speed at the end. If they heat up, they'll cook right there, and you can just move them right into a freeze-dried baggie. Bam.
Yeah.
What about the zebra mussels? Do they taste good?
I don't think anybody eats them. I don't know.
That's the only way to fix them. I've heard that with the lionfish. You know how lionfish are invasive all over the coasts, and there's people that are like they actually there's like movements of chefs who are like, this is a way that we can take care of it is by eating them and make it popular to eat. And he's like, they cook all these dishes and they're like, it's actually really good to eat. It's a really good fish. And I think that's one way to do it. You got to find a way to make money out of it, and then everyone gives a shit.
Yeah, but didn't The Simpsons teach us that you have to be really careful preparing those lionfish, right?
I think Greg would know.
That's a deep cut for Greg.
Absolutely, man. Yes. Didn't Homer thought he was going to die, right? Because he thought he got the poison. The ill-prepared chef.
Oh, it was like
only one guy can prepare this. The chef was off for the day. He was like, you're just the sous chef. You can't prepare it. He's like, give it to me. I'm going to give it. I can cut this up. That was a great app.
How long ago would you say that app is from? Like what year?
I'm going to say, no, I think it's after the first 10 years, right? I think it's after the first 10 years because, and I'm just saying that because I feel like I know every single one of the first 10 years by heart. Like if I was dead and they were reading my brainwaves, I could still respond.
It's mostly
to
just Simpson shit.
I literally showed them to my kids because I thought it would be a historical thing, but I was like, holy shit, I still know these things line for line. But after
1991, just looked it up.
1991, holy shit.
That's like season 2 or 3 for Christ's sakes. All right, so I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, I guess.
That
I don't even know if I've seen The Simpsons now. I have to rethink it.
I think that cartoon show is older than me.
Wait, so when did you start getting into it, Grant? You're a Simpsons guy. I used to think there was
I am not a Simpsons guy. When I was a kid, I watched them, but I haven't seen an episode in probably 20 years.
How'd you pull that one out? How'd you pull out the lionfish thing?
It's a memorable show. People see a couple clips, they remember it.
It is, yeah. I don't know. I don't watch TV too much.
What do you watch? What do you watch?
I don't watch anything. I have 2 TVs in my house. They're both 20 years or older. They're box TVs. There's no flat screens other than computers.
Wow.
So, I don't know.
Was there ever have you ever watched something on TV that you were like, I like this?
Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Wow, that's back there. That's old.
Yeah.
And they
so no flat screens at all. I did not know this. This is a new layer of the onion that we peeled off now. So no TV, like no movies?
Yeah, I'll watch movies, and actually, my wife and I were watching a series from Sci-Fi called The Magicians, which I had read the books. I don't know if you.
That sounds familiar. Like I've heard it before, but I know nothing.
Yeah, I've not heard of that.
My wife and my kids, and I guess occasionally me, we watch PBS.
Man, you're making me feel bad.
We're outside doing stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's the better way to be. Really is. It's leaves for.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. It's rare
works
you
for
find
me.
somebody who spends most of their time outside that says things like, I have anxiety or I'm depressed. Like, that's not usually things that come out of people's mouths who are outside a lot.
That is very true. That is very true.
So, I mean, it's kind of interesting, because we're doing the Millennial Book Club constantly, and that's like such a large portion of the show, and that's just, but you're listening still.
This episode of Road Soda is brought to you by
Placebo Phone, the leading brand in non-cell phone technology. Shop us online for the widest variety of inert replica cell phones from Samsung, iPhone, and others. Placebo Phone lets you avoid having a cell phone without ever having to give people your very lengthy and alienating explanation of why you don't want or have a cell phone.
And also by
Time to Pee is the app that transforms your smartphone into an amazing hydration alert monitor. Simply enter your height, weight, and girth. Then update it throughout the day with the amount of water you're drinking and the top 7 climate statistics for your region. And then Time to Pee will do the rest, alerting you 24 hours a day when it's time to pee.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? I don't have Netflix.
We are constantly reaffirming for Grant. Yeah, that didn't sound like something I missed.
Yes.
That didn't sound like something worth paying $11 a month for. I love it.
That's
I love
actually
that this guy doesn't even watch TV. Forget about Netflix. He's like, I watch a little PBS every now and then if the power goes out. We got a generator that runs the TV. But otherwise, I don't give a shit.
That's
No,
really...
I whip out the old PBS laser discs, and it's a lot of.
And we're like, we really got to nail Tiger King so we can make sure our opinion really meshes and covers it. We're doing an hour on the Tiger King. I love it.
It still somehow is entertaining. And like for the Trailer Park Boys one, I ended up like finding a bunch of clips on YouTube, and that was a lot of fun. So
Okay.
I don't know.
See, that's very insightful. Like, that's stuff that you don't...
free.
For free. You hear that? Have to pay anything for that garbage. That's but it's that kind of feedback is really interesting. So even though you haven't watched a single one, was there any of them that really kind of sounded like you did want to see them?
I think the one on like the Fire Festival that it was so topical.
Right.
That was kind of interesting.
Just like Tiger King, yeah.
Maybe some of the anime ones. Because I don't know. I'm sort of on the edge of anime. Some of the stuff has become very mainstream, like all the Studio Ghibli that Disney brought over.
Yeah,
I got into a long time ago through friends, but I can't stand Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it's definitely a different thing.
Dragon Ball, like M through like Q, I was into, but by the time they got to Z, I was fucking out.
You know what's funny, Greg? Is as long as I've known about that show and maybe heard people like make fun of it and stuff, I've never heard that joke.
Yeah,
that's actually it's not bad. Hey,
it
like
seems like such an
eighth...
obvious joke that for a second I thought you, Isaiah, were being sarcastic, but that's interesting.
No, that's like it's a low hanging fruit, but I've never actually heard it. That's honestly the best kind, is when it's been in front of everyone's face for so long, and it just takes one guy to walk in and point it out. Not to say it's like the first time ever, but still, that's Anyway, don't want to pat his back too much, This This is something that I think is interesting. As when you were a kid and you were growing up and whatnot, what was your favorite like creative outlet?
Creative outlet.
Like, were you ever like, I want to play music, or I like to draw, or anything like that?
Well, I played piano. I took lessons from the time I was like 5. But I don't know if it was. I don't think that would be my creative outlet. But probably drawing. I enjoy drawing a lot.
Yeah. Is that something you're kind of you ever like come back to and draw and stuff?
Once you have kids, I think you end up doing a lot of that kind of stuff. Like, I've always drawing with my kids. we used to make a lot of like 3-dimensional paper craft animals and stuff with them, and definitely my older son like continues to do that.
Right. How old are they now?
What do you have? How many kids you have?
3rd grader and a 5th grader. They're both boys, so 9 and 11.
Cool. Hey, that's like just kind of close to what Greg's got going on.
Yeah, dude. Listen, everybody says, I wanted to have a... And I would have been totally fine. And you know we both would have said the same thing, Grant. We would have been fine to have girls, a girl, whatever. I got 2 boys, too. I got an 8th grader and a 6th grader. And I got to say, man, it is so great to have boys. Because they just lock in on certain things. And if I had a daughter, I mean, I'd love her, of course, but I feel like it'd be so much more work. Because I know how girls get. When the blood starts flowing and all this stuff starts happening, they get so much more complicated. You know, I know what's going to happen with these guys. It's kind of starting to happen right now. It isn't that complicated.
Right.
It's easy to deal with.
It's easy to deal with.
Yeah. I've heard that, and from other parents, like the drama between just girls in like 3rd grade is insane, unfathomable.
Yeah.
It's all that.
They get so old so quick now, too. You know, I mean, I know that's old guy talk, but like every year, I like to think about this. Okay, this is one of the things that's always blown my mind. As girls get younger and more, the clothing gets more provocative and there's less and less and there's more skin showing. Like, where does that end? Is there going to be a time when, like, girls in 7th grade are just literally naked? Like, where can they go? You know what I mean? And then there's going to be a girl that's going to, like, start bringing it the other way. She's going to, like, bring a purse in. And they're like, look at that tramp trying to make us all look bad because we're all naked. She's wearing a purse.
Yeah.
Where's that going to end?
I think
you don't have to think about that when you have boys.
I don't think it ever gets to like an end. It, like you just said, it always starts swinging back the other way. Like, I think that's how most trends are. I don't know.
Oh, so you're saying in like 15 years there's gonna be girls going, look at her. I can barely see her ankles.
Yeah.
How does she do it?
It might be.
How
yeah.
is she ahead of us?
We never know. It could be.
Perkins. Why did I think of that?
But who knows what's gonna happen, man? I think in 15 years we're all just gonna be robots anyway. You know, it's gonna be just like WALL-E. It's This is it.
Just like WALL-E.
Yeah.
We'll be shuffling around in our biohazard suits.
Yep.
You know.
I don't want to have to shuffle, Grant. I just want to. I need a scooter.
Oh, come on, man! Everybody's shuffling.
But I want to be scooting. Yeah. I mean, I asked that question just because to see if at this time, if you are, picking up the drawing or anything. For some reason, I always kind of thought that you might be someone who is like a writer, like you wanted to write something.
No.
But it's not.
No.
Nope. Not in.
Nah.
Couldn't be.
No, I don't have the patience for that at all.
No.
I'm an overscheduler. I am like 3 years behind all the projects I've started, so this has been a nice catch up.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's another question on there. How do you feel about that?
The benefit of the quarantine is people are catching up with stuff.
Yeah, that honey-do list. Once you're finished, then you're going to be just doing crazy things. Thinking of... I don't have any examples. Maybe putting the leaves back in the gutter? I don't know, man. Can someone help? Are you guys still there?
I'm nowhere close to that.
Nowhere. What about... So how... I just think this is a great time to learn more about Grant in general as our, Jeff and Nelly, I'm sure. I think Jeff has listened to since the beginning as well. And then Nelly, since they've been together, I think they've been. But out of those 3 people, that's the most solid, hardcore road soda fans. And that's, I don't know, man. It really blows me away. It really blows me away that you guys keep listening to whatever we're doing. Well, here's a fun question. What do you think? What do you want to see us do better? And I want be. I don't want you to say it nicely. You don't got to say it nicely. What do we got to do better?
Okay. Here's my one gripe, and maybe it's already started to get fixed. But you started doing like where you'd break into conversation to jump into like the news segment or something.
Yes.
it was a little rough. You needed like a lead-in, like, oh, geez, the news is just coming in, or I don't know, just something to segue.
Right.
You were having a hard time finding the spot to break the conversation, I think.
I think you're right. I think I was doing it lazily, and I think that's the. It was almost like an afterthought. Like I was like, yeah, let's kind of do it that way, and then as I'm doing it, I'm not. We weren't like I wasn't thinking ahead to how it should be done properly. But I think you're very right. Yeah, like timing out the segments, and then when it's that time approaches, start like wrap up a little bit, or at least say something, do something. But see, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, you only hurt my feelings a little bit.
Well, and I got to say that the new ads are fantastic.
Okay.
It's that's freshened some stuff up too. Yeah.
That's hey man.
For a while, I thought about calling in or sending you some ads for a competitor to Popco, but never got around to doing it.
I mean,
that's honestly that is our favorite part of the show. They do.
Hey,
you know, but it's just it ain't easy to come up with them, and you know.
Greg, you're breaking up a bit.
I'm sorry, breaking up, but I'm just saying. Well, you might have to edit a little bit, but I'm just saying the ads are definitely our favorite part of the show, and it's it's something that we definitely want to get back to.
We know what our bread and
Regular
butter
ads.
is, man. I know what the bread and butter is because the whole thing, as far as I mean, we probably
sponsorship, right?
What's up?
The sponsorship.
The sponsorship, man. That's what it is. It's something that we know kind of. I mean, I haven't really looked hard, but I don't see other podcasts doing that, and I'm trying to. There's so many groups of hey, my group of friends, we're pretty funny guys. Let's sit down and start a podcast, and then you get just four dudes talking, and then I want to try to do something a little bit different. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I guess I don't know. As the fact that you're along for the ride, man, I can't. It's fun as shit, and I love that you're calling in. And one of these days, there's going to be other people calling in, Grant. One of these days, but you will always have a direct hotline.
All right, good deal. Because my opinion matters.
That's right.
Hell yeah, dude.
Damn
Hell
straight.
yeah, you are the key constituency.
We don't need somebody who's just listened to a couple episodes calling and who are you? You've cracked 2. You're not even catching a buzz yet. You're you got to start getting through the 6-packs or I don't know, like a 12-pack. Like
sure.
Greg.
Tall boy.
I don't know.
I don't know if you guys have those down south.
What's
Do you
up?
have tall boys?
Yeah, we got
Tall
tall
boy
boys. How much alcohol? How much?
Have you always had them, or?
I believe the tall boy is the official drink of Florida Man. So yeah, we have a couple down here. We got some brands that I don't even know. Sometimes I look and I go, is that alcohol or what is that? Because the name doesn't give me a clue. It's in a can and it's near the beer, but I don't know that I would ingest that. And, I'm sure there's a guy waiting in line at 8 a.m. somewhere to 7-Eleven to get them. But, yeah, to answer your question, tall boys are the official import of Florida. That's Florida Man's favorite drink.
He can't.
Even though the koozie doesn't cover all the way up?
Nope.
Yeah.
That's so people know. People know. I know that down here you can't, like a 40 ounce isn't really a 40 ounce. It's like a little bit less. A big, like an old English, like a big old English. Oh man, those were the days. It only takes you one old English to have diarrhea. Did you know that?
Have you ever had an old English? Isaiah, have you actually ever had an old English one?
How do you think I know that? In fact, Greg,
you've never had an old English.
You want to bet?
First of all, it's
man,
all liquor is the nastiest shit ever. I remember watching the. I bet you Grant remembers this time wise. There was a Dr. Dre, Snoop song. What the hell song is it? Where they're at like a barbecue and they're wandering around, but when they go in the house, they open the door to the fridge, and the fridge has no shelving or anything. It just has 40s of Old English
Right.
stacked sideways all the way to the roof. You know what video that was?
No, I don't remember that.
At the end of it, there's like a girl. She comes to the party, and she's like, a little too prim and proper for a Dr. Dre party. It was like their big video. Maybe it was nothing but a G thing, the video. But I know you're not a big TV guy now, so maybe that makes sense. But at the end of the video, she's going through this barbecue, and all these dudes are drinking 40s, and they're like, hey, she's all snotty. And they all take their 40s and shake them up with the thumb on it and spray it with the 40s. And I was like, that's the best use of an Old English 40 I've ever seen, because it's not for ingestion. They suck.
Hey, man, you don't get it. All right? Old English it's like a state of mind, okay?
The state of mind.
It's a state of mind, dude. We used to buy them.
I'm not going to lie to you, though. It looked cool to have a fridge at that age that was loaded with Old English 40, even though I knew even at that time they sucked.
So
I was like, all right, now that's a cool look. I got like mayo and ketchup and all kinds of dorky shit in my fridge. They have nothing but Old English 40 stacked to the ceiling. That's cool. I can't deny that.
the thing about the Old English is that it not only does it only take one to make you have diarrhea, but just one, it puts you at the perfect level of buzz. And we used to buy them. We used to buy them at the 7-Eleven, and then we'd drive and we would park at the beach, and we would drain our old Englishes. We would drink the whole thing, like chug it, and then we would go to the beach, and you were just the perfect level of buzzed. It was great. And then you had to pee, so you had to get in the water, and that sucked. But that's
by the way, the concept, like, to think it out, to drink a 40, and I'm a fast drinker, but if you're gonna drink a 40, it takes a while. So in Florida, by the time you drink the end of that thing, it's not good.
No, we chugged it. You got to chug it, man. Drink it fast, quick.
You got to chug it. Yeah. Hold on, let me just chug a 40 of Old English real quick before we get to that, whatever it is.
Greg, I thought you knew how to party, Greg. I don't know. I just didn't.
I gotta keep looking. I'm gonna look up a YouTube video, how to party, when we get off this, because I don't know.
Step one: buy an Old English.
It'll be a guy that sounds like Grant going, all right, hey, thank you for coming to my video. I'm gonna show you how to party.
Remember, with the lid, lefty loosey, righty tighty.
That's right.
I
Sometimes
literally just spit my drink out. As soon as I heard Grant doing the Grant YouTube video. That was awesome.
that is, Mr. Grant. Thank you. I mean, this. I think I want to have you here. Let me ask you one more question, and you can, if you don't have an answer now, if at any point you have an answer, you can let us know. What have you ever thought of something that would be a cool or fun segment on Road Soda?
I have not.
You've not.
But I could think about that.
It's hard to imagine. So to be fair to Grant, it's hard to imagine
something being good on this show.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like, but the segments, that's kind of also a very fun, creative part of the show. Just like, the sponsors are a very fun part of the show, and it's a weekly part of the show. But there's also this underlying segment hunt that's like constantly going on. Like, what's going to be the next segment that sticks around for a while, or is like really fun, and that's yeah. That's so. If you ever have like I'm not telling you to. Come on, man! You come back to me next week with an idea, or else, right? It's if you ever, hey, maybe they should review that. That would be, I don't know. I think it would be fun, and maybe even if it's something that involves you, we can always maybe try to work something out, like a Grant segment. It could be like a once a month thing. You could do local little parks in. You could be the out. Very specific. What county do you live in? Lisle County?
Lisle, Illinois. No, DuPage County.
DuPage County. DuPage County's very own Grant Pettit and his tours. So, I don't know, man. Hey, I just thank you, and I mean, it's really cool that you're listening to the show and everything. If you ever stop At least just tell us why. At least just tell us why, baby.
Well, you've had great segments all along. Like going back to the Google alerts, that was a cool segment that I didn't even know those existed.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
you just made my day with that, man. Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know about the shower thoughts. That I think it's tough to get off the ground.
The shower thoughts. Well,
yeah,
it's supposed to.
It's
yeah,
a good idea, but I don't know.
It's definitely a really it's like a specific mode of thinking that you have to if you want to keep coming up with them. So that's why you could just go to Reddit and peruse Reddit and yank them from there. So, I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with like all of our segments. They kind of come and go. There's a couple of them that stick permanently, but what would you say the Google alerts? Maybe we can try to figure something back out with the Google alerts. I know Greg mentioned that at one point. Like trying to narrow them down more so you get more hits, or just doing something, because that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah,
And
I don't know if you need to bring it back, but you got a good time section now. Sometimes they used to run really long, which I don't care. You know, my ears are always on my head anyhow. So.
That's right. That's what I try to tell.
I'll tell you what, the Road Soda R&D team had about 25 strong. You know, the quarantine has cut it down. There's only about 14 full-timers. But I'll tell you, we are working on segment ends all over. We've got the India team is they're probably our top team right now, producer-wise. For segments.
They're very hard workers.
You know, we're always looking out.
Yes,
sweet.
Always looking out. Well, thank you, man. Thanks for doing for calling in and doing an interview so we can learn more about you. I think next we should try to do both Jeff and Nelly, the package deal of Jeff and Nelly. So now that they've heard now that they've heard this, and I've asked you these very hard hitting questions like what should we do better, now they can really prepare to get some. What if that's something that the president was like part of his job? Like he had to call, like every month he had to call 10 random Americans and and they were able to say whatever they wanted to him. And it was recorded.
Actually, it goes the other way. He picks 10 random Americans and he tweets at them. That is actually happening right now.
That's right.
Wrong. You are an idiot.
Wrong.
Trump wins. Hashtag.
Building the wall around your house.
That's right. Anyway, thank you so much, man, and thank you for talking. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me.
Nice to finally talk to you, Grant. Appreciate it, man.
If you guys are ever in Chicago.
Welcome to Pappy's Wigs. Wigs so good you're guaranteed to not get a compliment. Is your wig old and smelly? Are you sick of people noticing your wig? Pappy's Wigs. No one will notice your wig or your money back. You want a toupee? We don't sell toupees. We sell wigs. My father was a wigger. My father's father before him was a wigger. And I'm one too. We don't make toupees. Understand? Don't go to wigs and things unless you want people to compliment your wig. Something like, "Hey Dave, nice wig." Then what do you say? Thanks? Poppy's Wigs. Unnoticeable. No one will ever compliment your goddamn wig is what I'm trying to tell to you right now. It's the perfect wig. You know how hard it is to sell a perfect wig? Nobody ever fucking notices if you've got a wig on or not. We've got the best goddamn wigs and we can't even fucking sell them. Poppy's Wigs. Come on down to Poppy's Wigs and get a wig today.
Millennial Book Club. Millennial Book Club. This is the Marshmallow Braggadocio Camouflage sales pitch. It's the elevator pitch. Ready? Here it is. Marshmallows are universally liked, and so we wear them and we throw it in your face. And people act like you're not even there.
So well liked if people see them, they're gone. And so you need to camouflage them, of course.
Right.
So you can eat them and then show people you can fucking eat them anywhere. Why can't they see them?
Yeah, it didn't really sell too well. That was something I socked a lot of money into that idea, and it. You know what? I regret nothing. Hey, you know what's funny? I spelled braggadocio correct.
Really? I'll have to take your word for it. And
there's no red line under it, so either.
You wrote it down, so it doesn't count.
What do you mean it doesn't count? I spelled it right. I did it. I did. This is the Millennial Book Club. Also, the NBC. Also, just fucking watching Netflix's originals. Choose a Netflix original, and we all watch it, and then we come back next week and we talk about it. It's like a book club minus the fucking books. This one was the very long title. The Kennedy Center Mark Twain Award for American Humor. Dave Chappelle. You know what is interesting to me, Greg?
What is interesting to you?
I can't name another comedian that has that award.
Yeah, they're all it's all older people. It's like a Lifetime Achievement Award for people in comedy.
Wasn't it the guy that you were talking about that has that HBO show? The last time we
Richard
recorded?
Pryor.
Oh, it was an old Jewish white guy.
Oh, Gary Shandling.
Yeah, the guy that's got that show that you were talking about.
Larry Sanders Show.
Larry Sanders Show. Does he have one? He seems like the kind of guy that would get one.
That's a good question. I think they more do it for people. Listen, if you're a comedian and you're selling out clubs and stadiums and big arenas or theaters and shit, you're getting all kinds of accolades. This is more. I think this prize is more for like Spalding Gray or someone that's like a great American humorist that doesn't make a whole lot of money. And although they said the first one they gave was to Richard Pryor, so I guess I don't know. I guess some comedians.
I don't remember them saying that.
Yeah, they said it. The guy who came out at the end, like the actual guy from the committee or whatever the fuck it is, that guy came out and said it. Who has won? Now I'm gonna look though.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you? So I mean, that tells you obviously you don't give much of a fuck about the Twain.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know. And then they used Mark Twain as like a great humorist, and then they gave the first one to Richard Pryor. Is that like some kind of joke? Dude,
to be fair, a lot of people see him as like the greatest stand-up of all time. A lot of people, not everyone.
Richard Pryor?
Richard Pryor.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I don't mean that. I just mean like this racist-ass novelist named Mark Twain, and then they name the award after him, and then they give it to Richard Pryor.
Well, all right, come on, man. I mean, yeah, he was racist, but he was just of his time, and he was.
Come on,
they
man.
look at him as like a. So
Look, man,
the first one was in '98. Richard Pryor got it.
If everyone else is racist, you're allowed to be racist, okay?
Like when I look at the list of people that got it, though, I mean,
yeah,
you know who Jonathan Winters is, but he's not, relevant now. This is like a lifetime thing.
Right.
Carl Reiner got it. You know who Carl Reiner is.
Yeah.
But he was like 90 when he got the fucking thing. He got it in 2000. How old is he now? He must have been like
Carl
70.
Reiner isn't. He died not too long ago.
I think he's alive still.
Nah, he died not too long ago. Pretty sure. Carl Reiner. Carl. With a R? Reiner? Y? How do I spell it?
Reiner. I believe he's still alive, dude.
We'll find out. Let's see. Born.
Mel Brooks.
No, dude, yeah, he's 98. Oh, it's that guy. Okay, I thought it was another Reiner. Isn't there a director that died? Something Reiner?
Did his son Rob Reiner die? That would be
Rob
He's
Reiner.
also very old.
Oh, his son? Maybe his son passed away. Man, that sucks.
Bob Newhart got it. Lorne Michaels got it.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking Lorne Michaels. You see what I mean? It's not really like for comedians, although Steve Martin got it.
It's for, it's humor. It's just...
They gave it to The Cause.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Tina Fey, Will Ferrell got one, Ellen DeGeneres.
Will Ferrell got one? Ellen DeGeneres? Man... That's a pretty. And they do it every year.
Every year, yeah, it's an annual thing. The last person to get it was Elaine from Seinfeld. She got it last year. Letterman before that, and Bill Murray, and then Eddie Murphy before that. Those are the last 5.
Wow.
Eddie Murphy got it in 2015. Bill Murray. I mean, no one's going to argue with either of those guys. They're super funny. Like over the hill.
Yeah.
They put together. They could still go out and be funny on shit, but like they've definitely passed their peak. Letterman, I mean, he looks like he's a fucking 1,000 now with that beard.
Oh yeah,
you know, Elaine from Seinfeld. I don't know why that was the choice. So whatever, man.
Well, because
like everything, right?
she's been continuously working in American humor since then. I mean,
but you know
I don't think
you say that. That's probably part of it. But the more important thing is because you know how this shit works is like 2 people from the committee live in her neighborhood and they see each other at like tennis.
Right.
And she's like, we got to get you in there. I'm sick of this shit. They're putting all these black guys in. They're talking about this Dave Chappelle guy, and you deserve to be in there more, Elaine. You're my neighbor.
And you're so funny. You make me laugh so hard when we're playing tennis.
You are so funny. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When we're playing tennis.
Or whatever.
I've never seen any of your shows, but at tennis, you are a riot.
You're a riot.
So it's bullshit, but you know, it's
all bullshit. Nothing matters. The only thing you can rely on is the good old American voting system. Everything else is bullshit.
The marine law rules.
Rules.
People will learn someday.
Man, so I think if you are a fan of Dave Chappelle's, it's still a really cool thing to watch because, you get to learn a lot about him because you have all these people coming up on stage and telling stories from his past, and they're obviously, they're painting the picture of who they see him as, and I thought it was really cool. I really, because I'm a huge fan of Dave Chappelle. I thought that.
I agree, man. I think we've covered it. Do you think that it is a watch if it's on or a? No, I'm kidding. Come on,
I get it. No, you just kind of watch it if it's.
We're not ragging on the show yet. No. We're just ragging on the Mark Twain Award. But now watching the show, this was like it was like a documentary. I mean, that makes it actually a little lamer for me because as it's unfolding, I'm like, I don't care about the Mark Twain Prize either. But now, as you start watching, you're like, I'm watching a documentary on the making of the presentation of the Mark Twain Award to Dave Chappelle. And this is an hour of my life that I've chosen to sit and watch this.
Oh, you think it was like a making of?
I mean, what the fuck else was it?
I think what they did, it was the documentary was more just on Dave Chappelle, like winning the award. What they did was, instead of making you sit there and watch a mind-numbing 2-hour award ceremony with all the music breaks and bullshit they have going on, they cut it up and they put some kind of semblance together so it was easier to watch. Like, I'm sure they cut a lot of stories out that people told because they just weren't good, and then they would splice together, like they would reference something in the story and they would show you a picture of that or a short video of that to, like, make it make sense. And all in all, when you watch it beginning to end, it's still probably shorter than the actual award ceremony was.
No shit, it probably was.
Yeah, because it was like, what, 50 minutes or some shit?
You know what I did like is, they're basically, like you just said, is what they did. They took an award show and they boiled it down, but they didn't want it to be like the 7 minutes of highlights.
They should do it with all award shows.
So they should. We shouldn't have to sit and watch them. We should be able to see it like that because they actually did like a career highlight reel that was all pertinent. So they waited for people. They probably did the highlight reel based on what people said, but I'm sure that the guy who made this thing or whatever the deal was, they had like an idea of what they wanted to show. So everyone probably said everything that needed to be said over and over.
Yeah.
So they could just squeeze in whatever the fuck they wanted. So basically this guy made like a quick little highlight reel and then they spliced in the comments from like the speakers. And he had a lot of good speakers there. There's some good comedians. I mean, people do come out for Dave Chappelle. At the end of the day, there's no one that's going to argue the validity. Well, you give that fucking guy any award you want.
Yeah.
He's a fucking top guy.
Yeah, there's nobody that's like hack who's looking at Dave Chappelle and going, hack, nah. Bullshit. I don't think you should have gotten.
Yeah, that guy's bullshit.
I want to whoever's able to say that.
10.
Yeah.
Well, there's always people, right? No matter how valid something is, there's always someone that's like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
He sucks. He's bullshit.
It seems like he was almost bred for it. Like, even right from when he was a little kid, it just seemed like before he even got on stage, it was his mom told him that African name. What was it? The name of the storyteller in the village?
Oh, yeah, whatever the name for the African storyteller was.
And she's like, you'll be a such and such. But, you know what? There was just really kind of, he tries to be a good guy. I really like that he does the kind of stuff that he does for his community and where he came from as far as the school that he went to. And did you remember the story that Jon Stewart told? about.
That was one of my favorites. Because his line was actually great. Because he definitely pulled you to the left at the last second. And I was like, that's fucking fantastic.
Wait, which one? Because he told a couple stories. Which one are you?
Well, his line about, I think I knew when Dave was a stand-up guy when I'm at the Daily Show and he's at his show. And his show was so hot. They would just do anything to keep his show. Comedy Central cannot let this guy go, but he's having problems. He's not happy with the show, and he's not happy with the creative control level he's got and all that. And they said, we'll give you $50 million. And he said, no, I'm not doing it. It's not worth it. He walked away. And he was like, and then it was at that point I realized,
yeah,
Comedy Central has $50 million.
Yeah.
That was fucking funny, dude. That was one of the few things that really made me laugh.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it. I was just saying what else about Jon Stewart did you like?
He told another story. It was much more touching. You know, it showed a really cool personality. He told this quick story about how Dave put on this like relief show. It wasn't a relief show, but he put on like this whole show, and I don't know if it was I think it might have been just music, like a block party thing, and it was...
Oh, yeah, that's right. I do remember that.
Yeah, and it was like right in the same square where a really horrible mass shooting happened. And after that, I guess he said to Jon Stewart, this is their memory now. And then I thought about that for a few minutes after they said that. I was like, wow, that is a really amazing sentiment, or a really amazing thing, because it's true. Like, if you have a mass shooting there, that area is steeped in that awful memory. But if Dave Chappelle comes and puts on a concert because of that, that is, for a lot of people, that would end up being the predominant memory of the outcome. Well,
except maybe like the family.
That's what I mean. Yeah, for most of the people. I mean, the family, like, you know what, Billy was cool, but hell, if it wasn't for him, Dave Chappelle wouldn't have come to town.
The other Jon Stewart thing, actually, because he actually did hit some good points. I mean, he's good.
Yeah.
Jon Stewart been around. He looks so gone. He looks so old now, by the way, Jon Stewart. But the other thing he did, look, we're talking half of it about fucking Jon Stewart, but the guy laid down some good shit. He was talking about the other thing, where he's like, I'm on my way to a benefit for veterans, and we're going to Walter Reed to go talk to the disabled veterans. And he goes, and by the way, I'm with Comedy Central. He said, nobody wants to see the Daily Show shit. We bring all the Chappelle Show DVDs. Everyone wants that.
Right, yeah.
Which is probably true. What the hell? And he goes, and I bump into Dave Chappelle. I haven't seen him in years because he is just coming back, from Africa after being gone for a decade plus. And he goes, holy shit, this is so crazy. Like, I'm seeing you here. He goes, hey, I'm going to this benefit. It's for the troops. Come on, man. What are you doing right now? You're not doing anything. Let's go. Come with it anyway.
Let's go blow their minds.
Yeah, let's go blow their minds. He went, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. And then he's like, I've never seen somebody who cares so much give less of a fuck.
Which is, it's kind of cool, because a lot of people, if you do something because you're guilted into it, it's not really the same thing as being like, yeah, let me go. I mean, you could kind of kid yourself into it, but, do you ever think about how much of our life decisions actually are made on that type of shit? Yeah. Whether it's like a direct plea from like a relative or a friend, or like some movements happen. Think about the guys that joined the army for 9/11.
Yeah.
And like, at what point in their minds later on were they like, fuck, man, did I really want to do that? Like, some people are probably just going to be like, no, fuck that. I'll never question that decision again. Are you questioning me? I'm a fucking veteran. No, hey, man, I'm not questioning. That was great. Great service, man. We really appreciate it. But at some level, though, it's your life. And you saw that terrorists bombed a building, and you signed up for the army. Like, whoa.
Yeah. You should have at least give it a week, Just
sleep on it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, sleep on it, and if you wake up and you still feel like that, sleep on it again.
Sleep on it a couple more times. That's a big decision.
You know that you got it right when you wake up and you're not thinking about it anymore. You slept on it too little. We're real fucking patriots here.
Real patriots sleep on it.
Real patriots sleep on it.
I think my
9/12/01. Sleep on it.
I think my favorite joke that happened in the whole thing, right, is they had 3 lesser known guys, so they all came up on stage at once. And it was like Kenan Thompson and
dude, yes, this was
other
my
guy.
favorite line too by far, because it took balls and it was like obvious. It wasn't obvious until he did it. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
It was so great. It was a really amazing joke, and the setup and everything, and he knew what order he was going in, and
Yeah, so it was like these two guys. I don't remember. I know Kenan Thompson. I've seen the guy in the middle. I've seen his stand-up before. I can't remember his name.
Michael Che. He's the other guy that does the update right now with Colin Jost.
Yes, and then the other guy was doing the update too, right? They were just all three SNL guys.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and the last guy was what was his name? The white guy?
Colin Jost. Him and Michael Che are the guys that have been doing update on SNL for like the last few years. Okay. That's their whole job. That's all they do, in fact, I think.
I've seen them. I've seen a couple of their clips. So, yeah, and Kenan Thompson, he does. He talks about how much Dave inspired him and saying that's the best, show ever. And then, of course, the next guy does the same shit. And then it comes to.
Was he the guy that said the first 2 seasons of Dave Chappelle are like perfect? Like you can't put nothing will touch it. Like, which I think a lot of people have that sentiment. Like at least the first season, or you could pick a bunch out of the first couple seasons. That's how those sketch shows go. But I think he's the guy that said that. He said if you put you could put the first 2 seasons of Dave Chappelle, the Dave Chappelle show, up against any other sketch show, and you'd be hard pressed to see.
I don't think he made it specific to just 2 seasons. He said just the Chappelle show in general.
All right. Somebody did say that. Maybe it wasn't Kenan Thompson. Someone said that, and I was like, yeah, I totally agree with that. Because how many seasons did they do? They do 4?
3.
Just 3. That's right. And then he quit.
Yeah, and at the end of the 3rd season, he's not even hosting it any longer. It's Wayne Brady hosts it. Now, they have a couple different people host it, but it ends up being like Wayne Brady doing most of them. So,
no shit.
Yeah, you don't remember that?
I don't, dude.
It was because they had a bunch of sketches, and you know how they recorded the show live, so they had like sketches all set up and done. And then he quit. So I think, and they had only recorded like a couple episodes or some shit. Anyway, yeah, yeah. So the third guy, right? He pulls out.
The first two guys both come out.
Yeah, all three of them.
Michael Che.
All three of them are on stage together, and they each, they go down the line. So it's Kenan Thompson, and then Michael Che, the other black fella, and then the last guy. And he pulls out a piece of paper and he goes, "I'm here to talk about Mark Twain." And
it was perfect because the first 2 guys are like, "You don't know what it was like, Dave, for young black guys to look up to you as to be a black comedian, and the black thing." And they were like, "You just don't even know, man. It was great." And da da da. And then they put the camera on Colin Jost, and you're like, "Yeah, wow. What the hell is he going to say after that?" And he goes,
right.
"I'm here to celebrate Mark Twain."
Yes.
And they fucking brought the house down.
Everyone started laughing because
he's like the whitest guy in the world, by the way. He is the whitest guy in the world.
And it was such a beautiful setup. Like even having 3 of them out there, it was like the rule of 3. They had the first guy, the second guy, and then the third is the twist. And it was the perfect twist. And he even doubled down on that line. He wasn't like, "Oh, I'm just kidding. Anyway, Dave, you're awesome." He pulls out a piece of paper and he goes, "Now I'm going to read an excerpt from one of Mark Twain's,
from Huck Finn.
From Huck Finn, right?" And he starts reading, and everyone starts.
A line.
What?
He reads a line until he gets to the first obvious N-word.
N-word, yeah, and everyone's groaning because it's like a really famous line, and everyone knows the part, and everyone's laughing and groaning at the same time. Oh, it was great. It was beautiful.
It was. That was actually great. And you know what I loved about it is it's like, dude, what a life, man. That dude is getting pampered all day, driving around in limos, maybe have a few drinks on the house. He's going to eat and go to a party. All he has to do is stand up on stage for about 6 minutes, and at the end, he's going to say 2 lines. One, he's going to say, "I'm here to honor Mark Twain," and he knows he's going to kill.
Right.
And then he pulls out a piece of paper and pretends to read from Huck Finn, and then go, "You know what? I don't have to read the rest." Instead of dropping an N-bomb in like a 70% black audience. And he brings the house down again, and then they just walk off. That's it. That was his day.
So here's
punch out. He's got a big time clock. Boom, 4 minutes.
That's it. He had the best night of everybody. But I mean, it could have been.
Yes.
That could have been one of the places where they just cut his speech out. So he could have done that bit.
True.
He could have done that bit, and honestly, it's probably for the better, just because of it, that left it perfect. Like, wow, look at the balls on this guy. That's all he does. He doesn't even say "thank you, Dave" or anything. He's just like,
you know what? You're right, because everybody was so effusive. You're absolutely right. He probably said, "Hey, I'm just kidding." Right. Totally sucked Dave's balls for like a minute and a half, and then said, "All right, get the fuck out of here." Because that was the main thing I didn't like about it. I really liked it, by the way. I'm ragging on it, but I got into it. They did a really good job. The filmmaker put it together in such a way that you're seeing all these clips. You're seeing Dave when he's so young. Holy shit.
I know.
They showed him on Star Search and shit. He doesn't even look the same when he's fucking 23.
No.
Well, I feel like he hasn't aged a day since he kind of became Dave Chappelle, like, I don't know, 20 years ago. But when you see him when he was such a young kid, he doesn't even look like Dave Chappelle. It's fucking
He was
crazy.
he was just this
Some with
wiry.
a mustache.
Yeah.
The mustache fucking clip they showed, I was like, I don't remember when the goddamn mustache, but he looks like a fucking idiot with a mustache. That was great.
It's hard to pull off the mustache.
And you know what else I like, too? Because, you know what? In the very beginning, this is a little point, but it kind of tilted me 1 degree towards that. But the girl that came out in the beginning is, she's kind of a famous actress right now. Do you know her name by any chance?
Yeah.
Black actress?
Yes.
She's in stuff right now. She
Yes.
was in that movie Night School.
Yes.
She was like the lead in it.
It was, oh my God, it's like right on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, continue.
So she came out in a jumpsuit.
Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish comes out in a jumpsuit and she's like, Dave, now I know why you wear these. They're so comfy. But then I was like, yeah, you know what? First of all, he did go through a jumpsuit phase for a long time. But all the time when you see him, he's always wearing like the almost like militant. It's funny. It's not like military.
Yeah.
But he's a black guy that's bringing the truth to people and like really saying whatever. Although some of his opinions are not popular, because one of the lines Michael Che said with the two black guys and Colin Josephs, he's like, hey, if you're out there, Dave Chappelle ain't afraid to go after you, whether you're white, whether you're gay, end of list.
Right.
Those are his two main groups.
Dude, that was a very, end of list.
But he's always worn, like, he doesn't wear, he would never come out with a shirt that said, like, Nike or even, like, someone's movie or something. He always comes out with, like, zero advertising, zero connection to, like, a fashion theme. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's another way, a little way he's saying, I'm not for sale, man. Fuck you. I just like that. You know, I didn't even really notice it until I saw all those clips, and I'm like, fuck. He's always been, like, the most nondescript guy, like, specifically saying, don't even try it. I'm not going to advertise your shit. I'm doing my shit, and that's so much more important to me than... Because like he said, you're going to make the money. You do the right thing. You say what you want to say. The money's going to come. If you start fucking around with it, you don't know where you're going to go.
I mean, he was wearing a nice pair of Nikes with that suit.
Well, the shoes, I guess that's
the shoes.
a
The
different thing,
sneakers are different, you know?
Yeah, all right. So maybe it's not a perfect theory, but I just felt like...
I like it.
Because he's always wearing the jumpsuit or like... Because who wears a jumpsuit, dude?
He does.
What the fuck?
He wore it in, like, he did a
Chappelle.
couple specials with... I know he did the one special with one, and I think you might see him on Chappelle's show when he's hosting, like, the actual show. You see him. And then, of course, he wore it in the movie in Half Baked because he was a janitor. But that was a funny story that... what's his name told?
Your favorite.
What's his white name?
Your favorite semi-black comedian.
What's his white name?
I believe his white name is Neil Brennan.
Yeah, Neil Brennan, yeah.
I honestly can't even see him talk without, like, registering, like, I wonder what Isaiah's thoughts are on this guy. Because not like you have this burning hatred of him, but you're fuck that guy, man. He's totally tagging on to the fucking Dave train. And he did say that, by the way. He doesn't shy away from that. He's like, look, fucking guy did everything for me. I'm on set. He's doing it all. Yelling at us, telling us we suck. He'll send me a funny text. I get it. I owe everything to fucking Dave Chappelle.
Right,
I like the fact that he says that every 2 minutes up on stage.
He did.
And he made some good jokes.
Of course. Oh, his writing is brilliant. He's one of the most brilliant joke writers. And a lot of the jokes that were written down that were like used, like the premise in general, and for a lot of the sketches came from Neil Brennan. But it's just a lot of his joke materials being like, I know black people because I have a lot of black friends. And
right.
Yeah, whereas last night I watched Paper Tiger for the first time, which is Bill Burr's special. And yeah, he talks about his wife all the time, but it wasn't until I think this special where he actually tells everybody that she's black.
Yeah, I think I knew that because I saw it on. He was on a show with her. I think he was on.
Yeah,
but you're right. He
doesn't even mention it. Whereas, like, think of another comedian that would have that in their household, and then not just that's all they're talking about. Like,
yeah, even Dave. Dave has been telling us for years he's got a Filipino wife.
Yeah, yeah, but he, yeah, I thought that was really interesting. If you actually one of Bill's first specials, he talks about going to meet a girlfriend that lived up in the Bronx that was black. But we never find out that. I'm pretty sure that ended up being his wife. But
It could be.
Could be, man. Could be. I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was. If you're a Dave Chappelle fan, definitely watch it because it, it tells you a lot about Dave. It's a really cool picture at Dave and this guy that's what everyone thinks about him. And it's fucking great, man. Yeah, there isn't a person that can... He's undeniable. He's undeniable, for sure.
Yeah, and he's not perfect. I mean, the N-bombs, I mean, I get it. That's part of the whole thing. He might go a little overboard, but whatever. And the
Is he used the N-bombs too much for you?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's too many. I mean, he uses it a lot. He definitely uses it as a crutch sometimes, I think. But whatever. Everyone's got crutches. But the anti-transgender thing, I think, is funny, and I love that he doubles down on that. He's like, I don't give a shit.
Right.
And he's like, and you know what? The comment that he made, like, you'll never hear anyone else say that, especially right now. The only reason that it's a popular opinion is because rich white guys want to do it. It's like, no shit, I guess that is probably kind of true. But I'm not saying every one of them is a millionaire, but I don't know. Nobody gives a shit. No one's standing up for a dude that, like, is homeless and also wants to be transgender. Nobody gives a shit about that guy.
Right.
But Caitlyn Jenner or whatever the fuck, that has to be a big deal. Put him on the front of fucking Time magazine. I don't know. I like the fact that he's got some unpopular opinions. He's not just 100%. And one of the best lines he ever said was on one of his last specials, I think, where he was talking about the Trump thing. And he was like, hey, listen, man, there's only one way we're ever going to change stuff. And they actually played the clip on this thing, too. Only one way we're ever going to change stuff, man. Every black man and woman needs to get out there and go register for a handgun. Right. That's the only way they're going to change the law.
That's the only way they're going to change these laws.
It's fucking awesome. That's a great
Dave
Chappelle line.
That is a perfect Dave Chappelle line, and it's a perfect example of his type of humor, and it's true. It's right, man. That's why it's so damn funny. He's too damn funny, man. It's too damn funny.
And you know what? One last thing I want to mention that I really did like about it is that they show him throughout the whole thing. He's actually there when they're doing the presentation. So every time they're showing the acceptance speeches or whatever, he's up in the balcony and he's reacting to everybody, jumping up and down. And like, that's a lot of people couldn't do that. It would be disingenuous if I jumped out of my seat and did like a little half circle, like 3 feet around and like shook my hand and
That's
but that is Dave Chappelle.
That's because you're not black.
That's
a black people thing.
I guess, but I'll tell you what, he does that with his own punchlines like 25% of the time.
Yes.
He drops his punchline and then he runs like 4 feet across stage. So, and that actually works to his favor because he gets to sit there and listen to these people say it's going to be hard to listen to people sit there and be so effusively, oh, he's so great and it's so fitting. And but I mean, I guess he knew what he was signing up for. He's going to sit through that. It's a cool award to get. So,
I
didn't. For him, man.
I didn't like that his glasses were crooked the entire time.
I did not notice his glasses were crooked. Were they?
Yeah, the glasses that he was wearing during the award was the award show and everything. They were crooked on his head. I think it's just because maybe his ears are lopsided. I got the same problem.
It's a black person thing.
Yeah, you're right.
It is. We also identified. My kid pointed out to me that the only impression I could do, we realized during this, is the impression everyone can do, but it's a funny one. The very first dude that came out for him. Hey, it's Aziz.
Oh, right. Oh,
it's Aziz. He just has that easy sing-songy little voice. All you have to do is kind of be upbeat and say stupid shit. And maybe say Aziz, and that gives it away.
How do you feel about Aziz's stand-up?
It's not super strong, but he's so likable. Like, I watched his whole run of his show. Did you ever see that show, Master of None?
No, I didn't. No.
He got a Netflix show, which, again, I know everyone's pissed off at him because he had a meteoric rise, and there's no, like, major substance to his stuff. He just observational, and it's not that great or whatever, but he's so likable to me that I enjoy it. He, like, brings me up. Because he's never, like, negative. He's never...
Even if it is a negative thing that he's saying, a negative opinion or statement or thought, he still has a way of saying it and handling it that is more like upbeat and sort of like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, what? That kind of...
Yeah, he's like apologetic, like the way soccer moms are when they get together.
Yeah.
If he's going to rag on something, it's going to be like he's one of a gaggle of soccer moms. And he's just likable. Like that show, Master of None, you know who his sidekick is in that show? It's fucking Tim from Tim and Eric.
Oh, really?
That's the dude that plays like his best buddy. And the show is actually, he's Aziz living in New York, trials and tribulations of a, fairly wealthy 20-something-year-old guy trying to date as an Indian guy in New York and all that. And Tim is his buddy, and he's funny, actually. And I'm sure it's pretty straight-laced for Tim, because he's fucking out there.
Yeah, he is.
But he's still kind of out there on the. It's funny. It's funny to see Tim in like an actual role. I enjoy that show. Not that we're talking about it, but I like Aziz. He's all right. I'm not like seeking him out, but if he's on something, I'm like, all right, I could do that. I mean, he doesn't break anything for me.
Right. I agree. He's he's a likable dude. He's funny. He's got great. His writing is amazing. His presentation is. But yeah.
Come on, man! My writing is amazing.
It's amazing. Yep. There you go. That is. So yeah, that was. Where do you put it? I'm gonna say, if you are a Dave Chappelle fan, it's a must watch. And if you're just a comedy fan in general, I mean, I've never seen the award ceremony for the Mark Twain thing, so I mean, you can watch it that way. But for the most part, it's not something you got to run out and watch right now. So just kind of watch it if you're there. If you're with someone who's a really big Dave Chappelle fan, why not? It's entertaining, right?
Yeah, no, that echoes my sentiments exactly. It's not anything great, but it is kind of fun because you get to see all these other really big historic comedians and others. I mean, Bradley Cooper came out and fucking spoke for a minute because they were in that movie together.
One of the greatest old comedians.
Well, I mean, there's a certain amount of this where it's like, who wants to speak for him, and then who do we gotta have, and then other people come out of the woodwork and go, listen, I want to be on this thing. Or I like Dave. He was just in a movie with him. Like Dave Chappelle hasn't been in a whole bunch of movies. I mean, Half Baked. What is he gonna do? He's gonna go get fucking Jim Brewer to come up and speak for him? I don't think so. He doesn't really give much a fuck about Jim Brewer. Bradley Cooper's got a little cachet because Dave gets to sign off on everyone that's going to speak, right?
Do you think so?
Oh, yeah, dude. It's his fucking thing.
If he's I don't like that guy.
How about the thing he does at the very end when they actually have Dave up there? That was a fucking Dave Chappelle thing, too. He goes, hey, by the way, I want you all to notice. You see a motherfucker in here smoking indoors?
Yep.
You think that shit just happens? It ain't going to fucking stop me from smoking. He's smoking on stage at the Kennedy Center. I love it.
The fucking Kennedy Center comes walking out with it. It's like a carpet floor. It's probably one of
That's another funny thing about him is like, man, that's not a popular thing these days.
No.
Smoking. He's like hardcore. I mean, he smokes through all of his shows.
Yeah.
He smokes through his recorded shows, for Christ's sakes.
I mean, I think it's cool.
Well, we can only hope the kids can recognize that.
Hey, you know what?
Latch onto it.
You're gonna look up to Dave Chappelle. All right.
I can't. When your son turns 9, I'm gonna Photoshop the shit out of a pack of cigarettes, put Dave Chappelle over it, send him a pack, and go, hey, Dave's cool. They're called Chappelle's.
Yeah, Davarello Chappelle's. Davarellos. Davarellos.
Davarellos.
Next week's Millennial Book Club is...
We're going to go funnier. We decided this wasn't funny enough. We're going to go funnier. What did you say it was going to be again?
Don't fuck with cats.
Hilarious.
Double down. Hilarious. Hunting an internet killer. So it's another, docu-series. Just like, what was it? What was that other one with the cat? Tiger King. Hey, did you happen to see the follow-up episode with Joel McHale came out yesterday?
Oh, I didn't see it. Did you watch it? I heard of it, but I didn't see it.
I did. The 8th episode came out. I mean, I would go and watch it. It's funny, if you Google it, the first thing that comes up is somebody being like, it sucked, right? Of course it is. And dude, and then I got so like...
Carol B. Carol B says, this sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Carol B. Who's that? I don't know. It's one of those things where as soon as I saw that, I was like, man, this is just somebody who turned it on expecting it to be like another actual episode in the show with all this twist and shit going on in the. I'm like, they said it's a follow. It's an after show. It's a follow up. Like, what the fuck are you expecting? Anyway, I think it was good. It was Joel McHale is always great. I think he's a good interviewer. He asked there was a couple through line questions that he would ask, like the same thing to everybody, being like, so who were you there for? Were you there for Joe Exotic, or were you there for the tigers or the animals? And of course everyone's like, oh, there for the animals. Fuck that guy. And but it was still really, really cool. They got all the people there, and they were talking to him. Interesting shit, I thought.
I got another month of quarantine, so I know I'll catch the last 4, and then I'm sure I'll watch the Joel McHale one.
I like Joel McHale.
Because that's just like appointment. There's no such thing as appointment viewing anymore in our time-shifting world. It's more like, that'll be on the list, and it won't stay on the list for 5 years. Like, I'll actually watch them, And I think this cat thing is going to be funny, because what we haven't mentioned, it sounds downer, but what we haven't told you is that it's a cat. It's about cats and animals being harmed on the internet, but it's narrated by Aziz.
Right.
What are they doing to that cat, man?
Oh my God, man. I love cats. Turn your eyes away.
Look at him. That cat's not dead yet. That was amazing. So it's
I'm looking forward to it.
You know?
It's definitely a great spin. So everybody, you can watch that and come back next week, and we can all talk about it. You can send your comments about either this Dave Chappelle Mark Twain Award, or you can write in about Don't Fuck with Cats, and you can send that to roadsodamail@gmail.com, or you can call and leave a message on our voicemail, and that number is 706-200-1213. Easy as pie. And that's you've been book clubbed. So that was the whole episode right there. We had met Grant. That's good. Greg, what did you learn on this one?
I learned a few things today. I honestly appreciated it. I'm glad the show made me watch the Dave Chappelle live at the Apollo / Kennedy Center / Dave Chappelle Honors / whatever the fuck that was.
Whatever it was.
I appreciated it. It was neat. And it was also really nice to meet Grant. I had never talked to him before. I know you've talked to him and met him before.
Yeah.
But it was nice to get a little chat. I didn't get to mention it when he was online, but I've always thought of Grant, since I've been aware of the concept of Grant, that Grant looks like Chuck Klosterman. And that's not an insult, by the way. I like Chuck Klosterman. I've read 3 or 4 of his books. Most recently, actually, I can't remember the name of the most recent one, but The Invisible Man.
I'm looking him up right now.
The Visible Man is the one that comes up most.
You know who Chuck Klosterman actually looks like? He's an author, right?
Yeah, he's an author.
He's got a real Justin look. You
think so?
Yeah, he looks real similar to Justin, especially when Justin's wearing his glasses. This guy's hair is Justin's hair is real like light strawberry blonde almost. It's not like...
Now that's so funny, because every time I've seen Justin on set, like the times we've been together, he's completely shaven. His head is shaved bald, and he only wears a Speedo. He's like a MMA fighter. So that's how I see him. But I don't know. Maybe he's got a Chuck Klosterman
when he lets it grow out.
Vacation period.
Between fights, when he's letting it grow out.
Man, I'm gonna have to try and catch one of those.
Do you know what I learned on this episode?
What did you learn?
I learned that the Millennial Book Club is listenable even if you don't have Netflix.
I love that. That was my favorite thing talking to Grant, by the way. He doesn't even care about TV, and he listens to the show, and it's half of it is about Netflix.
And he's like, you know what? I mean,
that's fucking awesome.
That is really cool, and I think it says a lot with a little. He says it's enjoyable, or maybe, I don't know. It just gives him the illusion of Netflix. Just a nice little taste. Gets him out of watching a lot of really bad shit is what it does. That, everybody, I think we should always do that. Even if this podcast ever, became something that was big, I think it would still be cool to every once in a while have like a fan on the show and someone who's listening all the time and talk to them and learn about them. That would be fun. So, there it is. This week's Millennial Book Club is Don't F with Cats. It's about cat killer or something. I don't know. We'll find out. I think we're going to have a really good conversation with that. If you want to mention anything, you can email us at roadsodamail@gmail.com, or you can call. Leave a message after the beep. Don't start before the beep. It's 706-200-1213. And Greg, what do you always tell everybody?
People, very important, get yourself a good night's sleep. You don't get enough sleep, you're not an optimal person, and we want you to be optimal people because you'll be optimal listeners. Get yourself some sleep, go to bed.
We're trying to get you guys optimal listeners. I like that.